OMG, do you remember how you got revenge when they cheated?
Bleach in his cereal, eh? He clearly didn't mean for you to take it literally when he asked for something basic to eat. Like the corrosive substance, this gal is bad to the bone for doing this. Much to her dismay, I don't think this is going to get him to clean up his act. I hope she lets the consequences of her actions soak in for a bit so she can realize that things won't be all white if he decides to press charges or she tries to pursue someone looking for a healthy relationship. It certainly is a stain that'll take a lot of time and care to remove without damaging anything else in the process. Truth hurts, but probably not as bad as his esophagus did. Actually, I looked into the guy who ate the Clorox Cheerios, and it's not good. He now has a bleach impediment. Oh, stop booing. These bleach puns wipe the floor with cringe TikToks. Hey Girl Scout, what's shakin'? How have you been? I personally have been very excited. Ablaze and I are moving into our new house in just a few short weeks. And after a year and a half of living together, it's safe to say even the most complicated of furniture building instructions can't tear us apart. Sometimes I think about how lucky I am that every moment I've gone through in life has led me exactly to this one. And while maybe something like a breakup was painful in the moment, it was exactly what needed to happen to get here. This got me thinking of the concept of revenge and how sharing ideas to get it is booming on TikTok. Watching the videos left me wondering why this kind of thing gets celebrated when it's often affecting the revenge getter negatively and is not as effective as simply moving on. I wanted to break down why these videos aren't empowering and cool, and how actually these actions have a negative toll on mental health. I mean, some of these are also crimes, so you know, it's definitely a lot to unpack. But like I said, I'm gearing up to move, so unpacking is something I'm prepared to do. But first, I have big news. We all know the people in these TikToks aren't people we need in our lives. The only pricks we need in life are the pins on the back of a sick limited edition Retro Phantom button. Yep, we have a Peace Out Girl Scouts button up on the shop, available only until October 17th, just in time for Halloween, and my birthday on the 28th. So celebrate this time of holidays with me and all our fellow Girl Scouts by grabbing yourself one soon. Way less hassle than sewing a patch onto your sash, am I right? Cookies not included, but the cringe content I'm about to show you, priceless. Merch shop linked below, so be sure to get one before they're gone. Okay, enough chit chat, let's just jump right into things.
Tell me something petty you've done to get revenge on an ex after a breakup. I'll go first. I sort of allegedly grinched him. Not proud of this. Proud of it. Not proud of it, but proud of it. We'd been living together and broke up, obviously. I moved out. It was the middle of December. Settled into my new flat about a week later. I realised I'd forgotten to hand my key back. And I knew my ex and the other housemates would be away for Christmas. I used my old key to get in and I grinched them. I took the lot except for the tree because I couldn't carry it. I took all the decorations, lights included, and all of the booze and any dry food I could carry.
Okay, yes, officer, I get how you would think this was stealing. I totally would have too if I were you. But see, because it's Christmas season and there were Christmas things involved, it's actually called grinching, which is not illegal because I couldn't find it anywhere in the law books. And plus, the Grinch returns stuff at the end of the book, so obviously I was going to as well. You're here arresting me while I'm still at the part where I take the stuff. So really, it's on you for not letting me carry out the plot. Don't worry, I forgive you. If you'll just take off the handcuffs and not send me to jail. This isn't green eggs and ham. We don't need to put me through the whole prison food thing, okay? Come on, where's your Christmas spirit?
Taxi! It's because I'm green, isn't it?
I'm going to assume you were still on the lease and so you weren't technically breaking in for your sake. So that aside, taking everything when they're aware that you have a key and you just broke up with the guy living there is not the smartest move. I mean, stealing in general is a crime, and posting about intimate details of the crime doesn't get erased because you say allegedly.
Allegedly.
I guarantee the house members aren't thinking a criminal broke in and stole their soup and fairy lights but left the PS5. They know it was you, and they're not sitting there going, you know, fair. He deserved this, so it's his fault this happened and we're actually mad at him, not her, even though she actually stole the stuff. No, they think you're petty and that your actions give any words he has to say against you validity. You can claim he deserved it or whatever, but sinking to someone's level cheapens your value, and you deserve more than letting your value be hidden by emotionally charged actions. And involving others in your relationship drama? Come on, dude. I can see you never really finished the book, but you totally can still follow in the Grinch's footsteps in a healthy way. Look around at all the people who are able to love and come together despite previous hardship and join them. Maybe even return the stuff you stole from people who didn't deserve it for good measure. I think your heart will grow 3 sizes learning the true meaning of revenge. And if that doesn't make you feel great, then get a cute pet dog to dress up like a reindeer just like him, which you can then use to start a successful social media page centered around him, get loads of sponsors, and live your best rich life in a luxury private cave away from everybody else. Tons of options while still keeping on theme.
Me thinking about the time my ex was cheating on me, so I used his toothbrush to clean his skid marks out of the toilet, then watched him use the toothbrush that evening.
When people say eat shit and die, I don't really think they mean it literally. And on top of that, him now having a TikTok to show people that you're nuts and reactive will give him the figurative shit-eating grin to match the literal one. What a crappy thing to do, when you owe it to yourself to simply flush the cheating boy like he's awful one-ply used toilet paper and go out investing in premium stuff, or like even a bidet because you can. Once you realize how much better life is with one, you won't even think about going back to the cheap stuff that causes pain and does a bad job of keeping its promises.
New quilted northern rustic weave. Also available in small batch, cedar loom, and extra virgin birch.
It's just insane to me how people are literally exposing themselves online and making it too easy. Surely if the people you were with were that toxic, giving them evidence is the last thing you'd want to do. Toxic people cause the most drama and the most issues. But then again, if everywhere you go smells like shit, maybe it's time to check your own shoes.
Alex, you didn't actually get your ex kicked out of college because they cheated on you, did you?
Yes, board director, that's right. She cheated. On me, so she needs to be kicked out. She totally plagiarized her feelings for me from every teen movie ever, and then copied lines from every Tinder bio she swiped on to pass off as her own. When she said she was doing her homework on the table, I totally think that's what her new boo's name was saved as in her phone. She even tried to bribe me and flirt with me to try and get the heat off of her, but I do not give in to manipulative student tactics. Do you really want cheating students representing your school? No, ruining her future doesn't make me feel guilty, because I'm only thinking of how I feel right now, and everyone knows the best way to show someone you're better than their actions is to take it one step too far so that what they did looks minor in comparison. Then you can heal faster because the trauma doesn't seem as intense when you compare it, and you're laughing, and laughter is the best medicine. Wait, you want to kick her out and give me a psychology degree for breaking that down for you so well? Thank you, Mr. School Board Director, for understanding the gravity of this situation, and for recognizing just how smart I am. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, this is big brain time.
I mean, come on. Being cheated on sucks, but being known as the crazy ex who got someone kicked out of school when they were angry sucks even more. Attracting the kind of people you want means being the kind of person they would want too. So this is only going to delay finding the right person, and you deserve the person who won't cheat on you. That's not to say change everything about yourself to appeal to someone, but realistically, changing toxic behaviors is something everyone has to do at some point if they feel they're stuck in a loop that they want to escape. You can't force other people to change, but you have that choice to change things in your own life. Plus, then you widen the gap between your actions and theirs, so your value and standards go way up. And that is a pretty great feeling.
Tell me a toxic/psycho thing that you've done to me.
No, I wouldn't say it's that toxic or psycho, but I think it's funny as fuck. So years ago, I was in a relationship with this guy, and it was the most toxic kind of relationship that you could think of. Very manipulative, just all levels of toxic and fucked up. Now, I didn't live in his area, so I didn't know a lot of like the local shops, takeaways, etc. But Google helps. So every weekend for months, I would order takeaways from like every single takeaway in his area and have them all delivered to his house within like an hour of each other. At the time, I didn't really consider the takeaways that would be like losing a little bit of money on it, but I thought it was funny as fuck at the time. And eventually he moved house. So I like to think it was because of me. I like to think that I had some revenge. And to this day, I still think it was fucking hilarious.
Contrary to popular belief, revenge is not best served cold, or in the form of an unwanted tikka masala. The only thing that needs to be delivered here is the news about how your decisions are hurting small businesses more than the guy you're trying to bother. You can't spell menu without me and you, so if anything, you're sending him the wrong message with this food fiasco. Here's a tip, which is not something you said to the restaurants you put out. Try taking advantage of this breakup to enjoy a time where you aren't committed to being with someone toxic, and maybe focus more on comfort food and less on revenge meals. I mean, she says it best. At the time, she didn't consider the consequences of her actions. Ex-boyfriend aside, that's wasted food and income or opportunity costs from sending out delivery drivers where they weren't needed, all because of acting on impulsive emotions. Stepping back before making a decision really can prevent you from doing something you might regret, and it can help figure out who is really going to be the most hurt from the situation. If it's going to take your energy, if it's going to involve other parties, if it's legal, or if it's going against your values. Emotions often make us forget these important questions. For those who saw my response to the TikToker who called me out video and our differences in approaching the situation, that is exactly why you wait. Yeah, that was sweet. And yes, that is one takeaway you can call up for when you're hungry for revenge but want to avoid being salty.
To the girl who was there when I was cheating on my ex and didn't discourage me like everyone else because she saw everything he put me through.
Girl power. Totally waste his time and cheat instead of leaving him and moving on with life. That's basic. Be edgy. Sacrifice your trustworthy values to try and hurt someone who clearly doesn't care about you. Because then, legally, you can put your title as girl boss since you gave everything to come out on top. No, don't give up and just break up. Play the long game to show him how badass and sassy you are instead of being efficient and logical. Like, those words describe losers who sit at their desks all day on calculators. And you write hilarious freelance articles about how you're single because no one can meet your standards and always project their faults onto you, like being worried about being cheated on. Another bullshit that doesn't happen to guys who don't deserve it. I'll always support you, no matter how crazy a decision you make, because ride or die means never questioning anything and just going for it. Oh yeah, are we still on for brunch tomorrow and then slashing my high school boyfriend's tires for breaking my heart in grade 9? Perfect. I love the endless support. Besties forever.
Yeah, so don't try to act so innocent. You can take that fake apology and shove it right up your hairy...
I have no idea where this idea of enabling people's bad behaviors became synonymous with empowering them and building them up. A true gal pal would encourage you to leave that scumbag that made you lose yourself, call you out for posting that way too obvious Insta story where you try to look unbothered despite wasting 4 hours contorting your body to find the right lighting, support you through your grieving with delicious takeout from that place you know is a greasy mess of questionable food but you both don't judge the other for loving, and then help you pick a comfortable yet flattering outfit for your first date back on the market, sending you out the door right after telling you to claw the spinach out of your teeth. God, don't the real ones just rock? To see that someone is hurting your friend and bringing out traits that hide the best parts of them, and deciding to encourage those bad parts to take over instead of helping them find themselves again, that's clearly a person who either doesn't know the real you or who simply carries their own list of toxic traits and wants a partner in crime to help justify their actions instead of expecting them to change. And let's be real, people like that always end up letting those habits affect everyone around them negatively, and they just move on to the next person once someone tries to point out their faults. Surrounding yourself with good people who make it easy to be the person you want to be and who help keep you on the right path are infinitely better than an enabler who slowly infects you with their poison.
My senior year of college, I was going through a breakup with my most serious ex-boyfriend that I dated sophomore and junior year. And at this point, he has a new girlfriend and I'm really upset. And I just am suffering. So one day, his old roommate from sophomore year, who he lived with when we dated, they weren't actually friends. It was a random roommate situation. They were nice to each other. They're civil, but they weren't besties or anything. So this random roommate who I had never really spoken to outside of that apartment DMs me, hey, and I respond back, hey, and he's like, I could never have done this when you were dating your ex because I fully lived with him, but now that you guys are broken up, I'm just gonna slide into your DMs and tell you that I think you're really cute and we should go out sometime. So I think that this guy's simply not attractive at all. He's blonde. I don't date blonde men, but I'm oh, this is perfect to get revenge, and that's the revenge that I want. Sadly, I didn't realize back then that the only good form of revenge on an ex-boyfriend is success in silence. Doing what I did, failure. But let's talk about it. So I'm really convinced that this is the best idea I've ever had. I tell the guy, like, sure, I'll go on a date with you, and then I make a private Snapchat story, and I disguise it just to look like a regular private Snapchat story, and then it only has 2 members in it, my ex-boyfriend and my best friend. I start posting on it like it's a regular private story, like it was my old private story. It wasn't. It was a special, exclusive, VIP inside look. Days before the date, I'm like building up the private, and then I start posting on it about the date and going on the date with this guy so that my ex will see it and like get what I hope to be super fucking mad, even though he had a new girlfriend and was like happy and like literally did not care about me at all. But I was like, this is perfect. The date is pretty insufferable, but fine. This guy is the opposite of my type. Like, he's one of the more annoying people I've ever met, and his favorite TV show was *Californication*. But you know what? I'm like, this is good for my revenge plot. I'm just gonna keep seeing him just for the revenge plot. So I do that. I keep seeing him for the revenge plot, and it just gets harder and harder to be around this guy. But I am an actor. My parents paid for theater school, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna act my way through this. Like, it's too good for the private story content that I'm getting out of it. One night I'm with the guy just because I needed content for the private story, and we're together, whatever, we start making out. He stops making out with me, looks at me dead in the eyes, and goes, "We have no sexual chemistry whatsoever." And I'm like, yeah, good job stating the fucking obvious. Like, I'm only doing this for my private story, party of 2. I'm only doing this in the name of revenge. I don't know why you're still here. Like, I'm a fucking theater kid, and your favorite TV show is *Californication*. Like, we are not the same. Right after which he told me he thinks women should never be authors, which is great considering I wanted to do that with my life, still do. I left, and a few days later he texted me, "Love you," with a question mark at 2 in the morning. And a few months later my ex was like, "Are you clinically fucking insane?" Yes.
The guy she spent extended amounts of time pretending to be into be like, huh? This is like if an AI made a TikTok after scanning the nice guys subreddit to create the concept of the typical femoid that they hate so much. Leading a guy on after he opens up and admits his feelings to her, using him to get the attention of some asshole Chad that won't give her the time of day, shitting on his looks and his interests secretly while smiling to his face because she wasn't done getting things out of him, and then discarding him once he begins catching on to her siren-esque ways. Did it ever occur to you that maybe your actions are reinforcing those beliefs that he has about women? Or that maybe you're accusing him of something entirely wrong here? I mean, girl, he may very well have only been nice because he wanted you to leave your ex for him and thinks women belong in the kitchen. But maybe he really thought you were interested because you repeatedly spent time with him and never stated otherwise. So he snubbed your chosen career out of hurt when he realized you obviously didn't like him. To me, it sounds more like a situation where both people are immature when it comes to handling their emotions. So maybe you're perfect for each other after all. Okay, in all seriousness, I'm glad she learned that success and silence are the best ways to move forward. That's great advice, and something many people struggle with accepting. Mental health, past experiences, or whatever other motivation for those behaviors are only a reason, not an excuse. If every guy cheated on you in the past and you now feel like you can't trust anyone, that's a reason. But it doesn't excuse you for sneaking around on your new partner's phone or demanding they cut out their female friends. They don't have to tolerate their boundaries being crossed so your negative coping can be executed to relieve yourself of those intrusive thoughts. It's on you to understand why you engage in toxic behaviors, work on finding healthy ways to cope with these feelings, and ask for support from people who can forgive mistakes but also not enable you. And it goes without saying, but please don't put your ex in a private Snap story to try and make him jealous.
POV, you just broke my heart.
I think your therapist meant something different when they told you to break down walls between you and your partner. And saying your relationship crumbled is really understating it. I would say be careful because the walls have ears, but it looks like there aren't any walls left to listen.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Tear it down. Reagan smash! Reagan smash!
What's that?
Oh, it's just Reagan. Just leave him alone. He'll tire himself out.
Reagan sleepy.
This one threw me because it was tagged as domestic abuse awareness. No, we aren't seeing the situation wrong. This person claims her ex-girlfriend was abusive first. So because the ex started it, this is justified. To be clear, I don't support the ex and her actions, but this is not okay either. From a safety perspective, this person's actions may put her in a very dangerous spot if her ex does have a violent history. And unfortunately, doing something like this means it will be a lot harder to ever seek legal action if the TikToker ever wanted to, because the ex having proof of her causing this extensive damage means she can frame herself as the victim. Even if she didn't want to press charges and just never wanted to see her ex's face again, the ex may very well bring the TikToker to court for this level of destruction of property, and she'll be forced to spend money on legal counsel, endure hours of seeing her ex in court, put herself willingly into a situation where the ex gets to play the victim, and very likely have to pay her money for as long as it takes to cover the cost of the damage. And of course, even if this is just a rental, you still are putting the landlord out and are gonna probably have to go through court with them because, I mean, that's insane. And no landlord would ever tolerate this level of damage. No matter the situation, it's not worth the financial and emotional cost. Never give a bad person reasons to play the victim because they use that to twist the narrative and continue hurting people. Stay safe. The wanting to inflict it back onto the other person is a justified feeling, but it's not the safe thing to do. Working towards freeing yourself of that burden without looking back is the best way to heal. I'll link some resources down in the comments because that process is just way beyond my expertise. I get that this one was a bit more serious than some of the others, but because it was posted under the same tags, I just didn't want to brush over it. TikTok needs to crack down on this, as I always say in the alarming number of videos where we cover yet another negative trend from that cesspool of an app. I get letting one slip through the cracks, but all of these trends have obvious negative consequences on the person posting, so there really is no excuse to ignore them all, especially the illegal ones that go directly against the terms of service. No TikTok, saying people under 18 need to have parental consent to use the app doesn't mean their parents have any clue that they're on there posting things and following this advice. We shouldn't normalize these things on an unregulated platform like this. We should be using this gift of easy internet access and connection to help build up a network of resources to better people. I don't know, call me annoying and overbearing, but I'm tired of having to hear all this justification for bad behaviors and negative coping strategies and just being expected to enable it. That's not helping anyone, and I want to help people. What do you guys think of everything? Let me know down below. And if you agree with me and want this message shared, then let the algorithm know by liking, commenting, subscribing, and watching till the end. It genuinely helps me get this out there, so you're helping me directly and spreading the word. You can also support me by going over to the merch shop and picking up a pin. Remember, they're only available for a limited time, so grab yours ASAP. You can also join us all over on Discord as well, or check out the gal behind the Danny Phantom PNG by checking out my socials. And that's all from me. Hope you all have an amazing day, and I shall see you all in the next video. Peace out, Girl Scouts. Thanks for watching.